Welcome, warm welcome to you all. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're coming from. This is Ramon Rocha of MAI greeting you from Carl Stream, Illinois. Thank you for joining us live for today's MAI webinar, Digital Marketing Through Social Media and Direct Email with Gladys Doronila and Ida Torres. Thank you for praying for Ida. She's well now. How are you, Ida?
Feeling much better already. Thank you. And sorry for the canceled webinar last week, but I'm ready to go tonight.
Thank you, Ida. And Gladys, please greet our friends from around the world.
Mabuhay from the Philippines.
Thank you, Gladys. Right before we started the recording, we've asked our friends to use the chat to tell which city or country you are joining us from. So for those of you who have just joined us, if you could use the chat to do that. The speakers would like to know. So as advertised, this webinar will run for 90 minutes. Part 1 will be on social media and part 2 on email marketing. There will be a Q&A for 15 minutes after each presentation, and we will have a short break for you to stretch or get a cup of coffee or water in between the two topics. You may leave the meeting anytime, of course, but if possible, we want you to stay with us the whole time. So let's get going. Just by looking at the number of people who have signed up for this webinar, this may be the largest that we've seen over the past years. We have 129 from almost 40 countries. And this just goes to show how essential digital marketing is for authors and publishers around the world. While digital marketing is not totally free, it is accessible, learnable, very useful, and effective in engaging your readers and establishing a relationship with your target audience. But it could also be frustrating. It requires a lot of energy, a lot of time. One thing I like about our two speakers today is that they are practicing experts. They do this every day, even in their sleep. I'm exaggerating. But they like what they're doing, they keep on learning. So what a blessing for MAI to have as our presenters today, Ms. Gladys Doronila, the Chief Operating Officer of OMF Literature in the Philippines, and her colleague, Ms. Ida Torres, the Digital Marketing Senior Specialist. So without further ado, ladies, please take it away.
Hello, everyone. I'm Gladys Doronila from OMF Literature. So I'll just be sharing our screen and we'll proceed with the webinar. Can everybody please let me know that you're seeing the screen now? In the chat, let me know that you can see my screen. Okay, great. Okay, let's start. Let's talk about digital marketing through social media and direct email. So we'll spend the next 90 minutes talking about social media. I will give you an overview of digital marketing. Why should you do social media? The platforms available, the tools that you can use, tips and success factors to be successful in your social media campaigns. And then next, we'll have a break and then we'll do direct email. We'll talk about building your mailing list. We'll share some tips, some do's and don'ts, and then your next steps. Okay, so let's proceed. What is digital marketing? Basically, digital marketing is any form of marketing that involves electronic devices. So you do your selling of products and services through channels such as social media, mobile applications, web applications, email, search engines, various websites, or any digital channel. But the question is, why should you do it? Why do it? So think about billboards, posters, any form of traditional advertising. There are limits. They are very expensive, but their reach and discoverability is very limited. With digital marketing, reach outnumbers and targets better than traditional forms. It is also less expensive. It's not free, it's just less expensive. Of course, you also want to be relevant and competitive. Your customers, your potential customers and readers are in social media. Just think of it this way. Google and Facebook generate more revenue than any traditional media company because they control more eyeballs. That's why digital marketing matters. It's where the attention is. Your customers, your potential readers and customers are in social media, and you should not be left behind. So what are the methods? What are the various ways you can do digital marketing? First, email marketing. So how is it done? We'll talk about that later. Emails are still a huge part of most companies' digital marketing efforts. Why? Because the ROI is strong. So emails are typically used to promote content, discounts, sales, events, and more direct. You can send more direct messages to your consumers. And email is not dead. In fact, in 2018, 281.1 billion emails per day, every day, were sent according to Statista. And it is expected to grow to 347.3 billion emails sent and received daily by 2023. And then there comes social media marketing. Social media marketing, or SMM, involves promoting your brand and content on social media platforms to increase brand awareness, website traffic, and lead generations. Example of these social media platforms are Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Pinterest, and TikTok. Next, SEO, search engine optimization. This is the culmination of all the efforts that you can make to boost the ranking of your website in search engines. Usually this is Google for the greater part of the world. And doing so helps increase the amount of organic or free website traffic that you can generate. And then pay-per-click marketing. This is a method of digital marketing where you can drive traffic to your website by paying a site every time your ad is clicked. The most common type of PPC you've probably heard is Google Ads. Okay, PPC is also an option for social media platforms, including but not limited to Facebook ads, Twitter ads, LinkedIn sponsored messages. Okay. Now, SMS. While SMS or text message marketing started to fall out of style some years ago when social media and search engines began showing their power, these days text messages are back. They're simple, they're about 160 characters or less, but they flaunt a 98% open rate. Now, content marketing. Content marketing, this method of digital marketing involves the creation and promotion of content to generate brand awareness, increase your website traffic, lead generation, and ultimately sales conversion. Types of content marketing are blog posts, white papers, or ebooks. These are educational long-form content or some infographics and, of course, videos. And then comes native advertising. These paid advertisements are intended to match the look, the feel and function of the surrounding media format where they appear. This is usually a sponsored content. An example of this is like an online channel, news channel featuring an article for you or your brand. And then affiliate marketing. This is a type of performance-based advertising where you can receive commission for posting or promoting someone else's products or services on your website or elsewhere. Most commonly, you can post affiliate links on your social media accounts. And then sponsored content. This digital marketing method involves paying another company or individual to create and promote content that features your brand, service, or product in some way. The most famous form of it is probably influencer marketing. Okay, where an influencer is typically someone who has a very wide social media following, or it can be a blog personality who has a large and engaged following. And then online PR. Basically, this is just the online version of the traditional public relations. Okay, so for today, we will be focusing on the first two methods, so email marketing and social media marketing. We will spend more time on social media marketing, to discuss that today with me is OMF Literature's digital marketing senior specialist, Ida Torres. She lives in the internet. She breathes social media, and sometimes she also sleeps. So here she is, Ida Torres, to share more about digital marketing through social media.
Okay, well, good evening, everyone, or good morning, good afternoon. Yes, so when Sir Ramon mentioned that we dream about social media, yes, sometimes I do dream about my work because I do it like more than 12 hours sometimes a day and even during the weekend. So, but I'll be sharing with you, why OMF Literature and a lot of other brands have been focusing really on social media marketing. So why do we do that? So first of all, you can get a local and global reach. So your market is not just where you are, but you can reach someone in Nigeria or someone in Barbados. Even though they're not your main market, they will still have access to your Facebook page, if they know it, to your Instagram page. So you have a local and global reach. You can reach everyone and anyone. It's also a good customer and audience engagement tool. So before, in the days when advertising was the giant, brands will just tell you that they're great, their product is this and that, but there's not really a direct engagement. But now when you post about your product, you will immediately get engagement, whether through likes or through comments or through shares. So it's a good way to actually know and feel how your audience feels about your product. When I talk about product or brand, this is not just for a publisher, but it's for an author. It can be for a bookshop. It can be for a particular book. So, but that's just the terms that I'm using, brand or product. Okay, it is also more affordable. So notice that we didn't say free, because contrary to what other people say that social media marketing is free. Yes, it is free to access it, but there's a lot of other things involved. So it's not totally free, but it is definitely more affordable than advertising. So it also gives a human face to your brand. So especially if you're like a big publisher, or publishers, normally your face is really your authors, right? Your books. But with social media, even the publisher gets a human face that people can interact with. It also increases traffic to website. This is one thing that I want to emphasize, that social media is a tool. Okay, but it should not be your website. It is a tool. I still am of the of the school that believes that you need to have a website. Because if Mark Zuckerberg decides to close Facebook tomorrow and Facebook is just your website, so all of your things gets erased already. So you don't have anything to hold on to. So you still need a website, and social media is a tool to drive people to website. It can also boost sales and conversion. So a few years ago, the question always was, okay, how do you convert? How can you know that if you're posting, it converts to sales, or it converts to, remember, sales is not just the be all and end all of posting on social media. So you need to know your metrics. So you need to know if it's awareness, if it's if it's to drive sales to your website. You can easily detect if the sales is coming from Facebook or from Instagram. There are a lot of tools now to tell you if it is driving conversion. It can also build partnerships and relationships. I'll be mentioning a lot this thing called influencer marketing. Gladys mentioned it earlier, but social media is about building these relationships with these influencers and also your audience. And as I mentioned earlier, you get direct feedback from customers. So you don't have to wait for their mail to come to you and to know what they think about, but they can tell you a few seconds after you post something. And it is also used as customer service and support. Actually, a lot of my hours in a day spent answering customer service questions. So that's especially on Facebook, that's what we use heavily for customer service and support. And this is also important. You use social media as a tool to learn more about not just yourself, but about the industry in general, your customers, your audience, where they are. So it's also not just a promotion tool, but a learning tool. Okay, so we'll be focusing more on the platform and the tools. I'll be giving out some numbers, but I'll not be focusing on that because it's more important to know the tools and the tips. Okay, but I'll just be mentioning and going through some of the slides. So, but before anything else, 5 things that I want to emphasize. So first, you must be present. If you're not yet on social media, you have to do it yesterday. Okay, so you have to be present already. Even if you don't have anything to post yet, you can already reserve what handle or what URL you want on social media. You have to commit. Okay, it's not a thing where you wake up in the morning, oh, what do I want to post today? Or I don't feel like posting this week, maybe next week. No, it's a commitment. It's something that you have to do every day, or at least a specific amount of time during the week. You have to listen. So that's the great thing about social media, because you get immediate feedback. So you listen to what your customers or your potential customers like, what they want. So, and it can also not just drive your social media posts, but actually the products or the books that you publish. And you have to engage. So you can't just post and leave it there and go back a week later. No, you have to actually answer their questions, or you can even say thank you if they say they like your book. So you really have to engage. And sometimes, I know, especially for authors, that is like the hardest thing to do, especially for the introverts. But there are ways. Later we'll talk about some of those ways if you don't want to be the one to do it. And as I mentioned earlier, you have to learn. So it's a constant cycle of learning and then applying what you learn and then learning from it again. So these are the 5 things that you need to do to be on social media. So let's go to the platforms. Of course, Facebook. I know there are a lot of people saying that Facebook is already dying. People are leaving Facebook. There's a truth to that, especially when it comes to young people. So like kids, they don't have Facebook. It's us older people, middle-aged people, and then grandparents. They say if your grandparent is on Facebook, it's time to leave Facebook. That's what some of the kids are saying. But it's still the biggest platform. It has 2.91 billion monthly active users. The demographic, if your market is 35 to 44, then you still have to be there. Um, it's algorithm. I'm sure you've heard of this term already, but basically what you see on Facebook is not really chronological, you know. So Facebook will give you what it thinks you want through content that has a lot of likes or a lot of interaction. So that's why it's important to interact with your customers. It is, yeah, engagement rate, it's low because you have a large market. So it's the engagement rate is kind of low and it's getting lower. That's why they're saying that Facebook is dying. But for now, it's alive. So we're still here. And organic reach, this means if you don't advertise or you don't pay, you have a 5.2% of your audience that you can reach through organic reach. Okay, so let's go. So what can you do on Facebook? Okay, so the most immediate thing, of course, you can promote your books, your promos, your authors, your events. And then now video is a very big thing on social media. So they say content is still king, okay, but video is the prince or princess. Okay, so trailers, you can do trailers, interviews, anything that you can film on your phone or on your camera. So you can do that. You can do Facebook Live. So this is something that we started doing during the pandemic. So some of our bookshops were closed during the pandemic. So what I did, what I was forced to do was to sell books through Facebook Live. So if you go to our Facebook page and you go to the video tab, you'll see me and eventually some of our staff doing Facebook Live. So what we would do is we would sell our books, and then first person who says mine, we list them down, and then it's a whole thing, it's a whole process. It's tedious sometimes, but we did get a lot of sales that we wouldn't have been able to get during the pandemic. So we continued doing that over the past few years. So we also did webinars, so I'm sure you're already familiar with that. Author talks, and then sometimes because we have children's books, we would do storytelling. So of course you can post quotes, excerpts, flat lays, or your books. For example, someone takes a picture of your book in the airport, so you can post that and say that, hey, look, our book is available there as well. You can also repost reviews. Very people like it when you share their post about your book or your product. So that's always a good engagement tool. You can post sneak peeks. So for example, you have a book coming up next month, so you can like post a cover, a sneak peek in the cover or an excerpt from the book, but just make sure that you indicate that it's coming soon, because some people are like, how do I order? Where can I buy it right now? So you have to say it's coming soon. So some authors also do cover reveals. So they do a Facebook Live showing, just revealing what the cover of their new book looks like. You can do contests and giveaways. So I don't know about where you are, but in the Philippines, people love contests and giveaways. They love free things. So you can just like do a contest, ask them, what's your favorite book? And the 5 best answers gets this book. So yeah, people love that. You can ask questions. For example, if you're stuck on a title for your upcoming book, you can do a poll. Which title is best? And it's people like to be involved also in creating that book. So when you finally reveal the title of your book, it's like, wow, I voted for that title, so I was part of creating that book. User-generated content, I mentioned that already. Reviews, testimonials, pictures of people reading your book. You can do reading challenges. I'll explain that in a bit. And if your brand is a bit informal or fun, you can actually use the memes. So any meme that you think you can ride on and create interesting content connect to your book or to your brand. So you can do that as well. So I mentioned the reading challenges. This is something that we did a few years ago. So yeah, 2018. So we gave them a reading challenge. So if you can read only one book every month, these are the kind of books that you can read. And then if you are able to complete this, you just have to send us a post of all the books that you read. And then we chose winners for that. There were, I think, 3 or 4 people who were able to complete it. Some of them didn't complete, but they said, "Oh, we read this." Because yeah, it's a good way to like push some of your titles that may not be selling. So for example, a Christian classic, books written by a female author. So they can check out, they can cross out those things if they're able to read it. So that's just one example of something that you can do on Facebook. So there's a lot, there's a lot of content. But here are some of the tips that we've been learning from the past years. Minimum, this is just minimum, okay, 2 to 5 times a week. Especially if you're an author, you have a lot of content, believe me. There's a lot of content inside of you just waiting to get out. So try to think of content 2 to 5 times a week. That's just the minimum. But for us, since we have a lot of books, we have a lot of authors, so we actually do every day. So I schedule 5 contents every day, but that's us, okay? It's not for everyone, but if you have a lot of content, 5 is also okay. 5 a day, once a day, that's good. But the important thing is you have to have a content strategy. So it's not like I wake up in the morning and think, okay, this is what I'll post. So I create a content strategy for the month and then for the week, because with digital, everything is fast. So sometimes the one that I create for a month, sometimes I need to change a lot of things. So I actually do it by week. You can post often, but post at the right time. Okay, so on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, they have insights that tell you what time your audience is on. So for example, before we used to post at 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. But then when I looked at the insights, a lot of people were online at 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. So now I repurpose some of the content and post it during that time. So it really depends on your market, but you have insights to see there. You can experiment with different types of posts. So you can post like if there's an interesting article that you saw on Christianity Today that you think your audience will like, you can post it as well. But of course, a lot of the content that you should post should be your original content. And of course, interact with your audience. Again, people like, especially during the pandemic, they felt like brands were on 24 hours a day. So you don't need to answer immediately. You don't have to stay up until 2 a.m. just answering, but you need to answer. You need to engage with them. Okay, and you have to promote your page. So you have a really nice page, you have really nice content, but people don't know about it. So you have to promote it on other things, like on your book, on your website, or on your bookshop if you have one. So you have to put your Facebook page everywhere. And the last thing, as I said, it's not free, because Facebook will prioritize pages that use their ads. You can boost a post. For example, you have a post that you think is very interesting, more people should see it. So you can pay to boost it. The great thing about Facebook is that you can, start as low as $1. Okay, so of course that will have a very minimal reach, but yeah, you should just set a budget to use Facebook ads whenever you can, because it's pay to play. Okay, let's move on to YouTube. Okay, so YouTube, 2 billion plus monthly active users. If your market is 15 to 35, that's who's on YouTube. 30 minutes spent per visit. I think that's kind of low, because I spend like 2 or 3 hours on YouTube on a rabbit hole. It's still the second largest social media site, so after Facebook. And it's also the second largest search engine. If you didn't know, when people want to know how to boil an egg, they'll go to YouTube and search how to boil an egg. So they don't go to Google, they will go to YouTube. So a lot of the how-tos, yeah, you find on YouTube. Users watch 1 billion hours of videos every day. 500 hours of videos are uploaded. I'm not sure how many of those are from the Philippines, because Philippines is one of the biggest uploaders of videos on YouTube. And the most popular content are vlogs, product reviews, and tutorials, so the how-to videos. So what can you do on YouTube? A lot. Any video that you can put it there. So again, product videos. So if you have a book, if you have books, very important to have a book trailer on YouTube. You can do a flip through of your book, especially if your book is has a lot of graphics, has a lot of art. You can do a flip through of it. If you have a bookshop, or you can do a bookshop tour. People love those kinds of videos, just you going around showing the books. You can do videos of people reading. That's also, I think, very popular on YouTube. And then informative. So if the topic of your book is practical, you can do a lot of content from the book. So you can take a chapter and then turn that into a video. So a how to, you can do an author interview. Okay, but I know not a lot of authors are comfortable being in front of the camera. So you have to ask the author first, if they want to be interviewed. So, but yeah, that's a good one. BTS videos, okay, not the boy band, but behind the scene videos. For example, I know it's kind of boring to like see how to make a book, but if you can make it interesting, you can do that. Reading excerpt, it doesn't have to be the author. If you know someone who has a good voice or who's comfortable in front of the camera, you can ask them to read an excerpt from the book. Okay. A vlog or a video blog, yeah, that's very, people spend a lot of time watching people, a day in the life of this person. So yeah, those, if you have an interesting kind of life, then you can do that. And this one is important: partner with influencers or content creators, because there are a lot of content creators on YouTube. They make their living out of posting videos on YouTube. If you know someone, or someone that can do a video for you, you can partner with them. Okay, so this video that will show you just a clip of it. She's one of our authors. She's also a celebrity, so that's why, yeah. I think you're on mute, Glads. Oh, are you hearing the audio?
Of heartbreaks and breakthroughs, and I'm here today to answer some common questions from singles. So nangalap ang OMF Lit ng questions ng mga singles, and they chose, I don't know which ones they chose, and I'm here to give my answer / my opinion / biblical truth ba? Ano ba yan? Is Christmas a good time to tell someone you're in love with him or her? Kakaloka. In other words, okay bang ngayon na magtapat? Alam nyo, actually, hindi ko sure. I don't think you should choose an occasion. You make that profession the occasion itself that you will celebrate. Diba? Kung ano mang petsa yan.
So yeah, that's just part of the video. We won't show the entire thing, but it's one of our most viewed videos. So because she's a celebrity, so she's she's very telegenic. Yeah, so that a lot of people watch her. So if you have an author like that, so it's a good idea to make videos with them. Okay, so some of the tips. On YouTube, videos are more polished or edited, unlike what you see with what we'll discuss later on Instagram and on TikTok. So you need to have edited videos. You still have to keep it short. Okay, the attention span of people are getting shorter and shorter. So yeah, keep it short and simple. You need to invest. So a good microphone, a good camera, or even smartphones right now. The iPhone 13 or some of the Android phones are already good enough, but you still need to have editing tools. Okay, you need to add those videos to your website and promote on your other social media platforms. So you can promote it on Facebook, on your website. And then, of course, sometimes you'll run out of ideas for videos. So you ask them, ask your subscribers, what content do they want to see? When we asked people, they said they wanted to see more Bible studies, more book excerpt reading. So that's what we'll be doing in the next few months. So that's YouTube. Okay, Instagram. Okay, so Instagram, 1.22 billion monthly active users. If your demographic is 18 to 34 and female, okay, females are mostly on Instagram. And it's the fourth most used social media platform. So you have Facebook, YouTube. The third is WhatsApp, which we'll not be discussing so much, but I'll mention it later. And so Instagram is the fourth. So engagement is around 4%. So higher, the engagement on Instagram is higher than on Facebook. And a lot of people actually look up brands on Instagram. Okay, on Facebook, it's slowly dying down, but on Instagram, people look up brands or things to buy. Okay, so for content, so of course, Instagram is more visual. So when you do your quotes, your excerpts, or your flat lay, you have to have what we call it, thumb stopping content, because people are scrolling and scrolling. So if you have something that's nice, people will stop their thumbs and look at your post. Stories, Instagram, actually a lot of people spend more time on stories than on their main feed. So the stories, even though they disappear after 24 hours, people like looking at those things. So you can do questions, polls. I'll show you some examples later. Quiz, countdowns, and all those things. So Reels, okay. So Instagram is scared of TikTok. So they created their own tool that's like TikTok. So it's Reels. I'm sure you've seen it already if you're on Instagram or even on Facebook. So you need to start learning how to use Reels. So you can do a bookshop tour, a book flip, behind the scenes, and all those things. Instagram Live. So if your audience is more on Instagram rather than Facebook, so you can also do live videos on Instagram. And you can also do contests and giveaways. And Instagram is where a lot of the influencers are, at least those who are not on TikTok. They are on Instagram. So you need to partner with these influencers. Okay. Yes, so these are some of the examples of the things that we do. So we had an online book launch. This author, she has more of a market on Instagram. So instead of usually we do our launch on Facebook. So we did it on Instagram, and then we did a countdown so people can be reminded. So that's one of the tools in the stories. And then you can also put links on stories. That's why I like using stories, because on the feed, you can't put a link, a clickable link, right? So on stories, you can do that. And then you can ask questions. So if you want to do like a mini survey, or you're just interested, so you can ask them things like, what Devo are you using this 2022? And then there are a lot of other tools in stories. Actually, one of my secrets here is Canva. So if you haven't used Canva, that's my best friend, because sometimes I want to post things that I don't want to bother our artists anymore, because they're doing a lot of the other more important stuff. So I'll just use Canva, and I'll just look at the templates for Instagram stories and then use it, tweak it to add to our brand. For example, if you want to do like a bingo, or you just search Instagram bingo, and then you'll find that on Canva and use that template. So there are a lot of, Canva is your best friend if you don't have an artist. But if you have an artist, of course, go to them as well. So some tips. Wait, let me just check my time. Sometimes I get carried away talking about these things. Okay, so one thing that you have to know, Instagram started out as a photo platform, but they said that they're not just a photo platform anymore. In fact, they are giving more priority to videos because TikTok. Okay, so use all of the tools when you can, stories, reels, live. So they actually push your page more if you use these tools. Have a visual style. if you want to. Okay, before, that's very important, this certain color, certain look. But now, if you see a lot of brands, they don't pay much attention to it. They just put whatever content they want, but you can have a visual style if you want to. Check out Instagram trends. So if you just go to the search page and see what trends, and then you think there's something that can apply to your brand or to your author, you can try it out. You can experiment a lot on Instagram. Use hashtags, very important, especially with Reels. If you want to be discovered easily by people who don't follow you, just use hashtags. Bookstagram, yeah, that's a very big hashtag if for books, Bookstagram. You can create content from Facebook. You can repost it on Instagram, just make it more visual. Or you can also repost your content from Instagram to Facebook. And if you have a shop, you can connect it to Instagram and to Facebook as well. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. But if you have a shop, you can connect it and you use the product tags to drive sales. That's where a lot of the brand sales come from, by using product tags on Instagram. Okay, let's go to TikTok. Okay, this one has been a very big challenge for me. So my boss, aka Gladys, and our board has been, telling us we should be on TikTok, or we should experiment on TikTok. So as you know, TikTok is really growing. We're actually just seeing the start of the growth of TikTok. So 1 billion monthly active users, and they just launched in 2018. Facebook took decades before they reached a billion active users. So 35% of global audience is 19 to 29, and then 28% under 18. So kids, Gen Z, if your market is Gen Z, yeah, you have to be on TikTok, or at least you have to have TikTok. Average user spends 89 minutes. Imagine. YouTube 30 minutes, TikTok 89 minutes. That's an average user. And now children's new ambition is to become TikTok stars. Before YouTuber, right? But now TikTok stars. So it's still relatively new. It's still a baby. It launched in 2018. So there's still a lot of mystery, especially when it comes to users and brands who are not Gen Z. For Gen Z, it's not a mystery. This is like totally natural to them. What's different with TikTok compared to Instagram? On Instagram, on your feed, what you see are the accounts that you follow. On TikTok, there is a tab that's for the accounts that you follow, but when you open it, first of all, it's full screen, audio on. So if it's the first time that you use TikTok, you might be surprised when you open it. And then there's a For You page. So the For You page feeds you content that TikTok thinks you will like. So that's their main. And then on the side is the following, but the For You page is their main thing. So it's mobile first and sometimes mobile only. You watch TikTok videos on your desktop, but it's from Facebook or Instagram, but it's really mobile first. I forgot to update this, but it's already up to 60 seconds now, so not 12 to 15 seconds. And then some accounts can actually upload up to 3 minutes already. So it's sound on, it's vertical. So you can't create videos that are horizontal. It has to be vertical because it's mobile first. And also the other thing that's different from the other platforms, it's creator driven. Brands are there, but brands are not important on TikTok. It's the creators. So those who have so much time during their day creating and uploading videos, they are the ones that is driving the economy of TikTok. So you have like 10-year-old TikTok stars already because they are the ones that people want to watch on TikTok. And for brands, it is authentic. So you can't create a polished video and post it there. No, it has to be like authentic. No editing, no major editing that happens. So for a brand, what kind of content can you create? Okay, but I'll talk about the creator driven later, but just some of the content that you can create. I have to be honest first, okay? We are not yet on TikTok because this is something that I have to study, which I'll talk about also later. But these are some of the things that I've seen book lovers and authors create. So book reviews, favorite books. They talk about favorite books. If you go on Book Talk, you'll see what people are talking, what kind of books the kids are talking about on TikTok. You can also show behind the scene videos, but again, no editing. So this is like raw videos, and then you just add captions and all that. A day in the life, this is very popular, more popular on TikTok than on YouTube, because this one is really raw, no editing. You can do a bookshop tour. You can do challenges and hashtags. So if you search what are the popular hashtags relating to your product or to your brand, then you can do some of that. You can do cover reveal, again, quotes and illustrations, but again, these are not, the edited ones are not so much popular, so it has to be raw. This one is very popular for bookstagrammers. They summarize a book. For example, if they've read the Iliad for the first time, a kid who has read the Iliad, and then he'll do a summary of the Iliad, but usually they do it in a funny way. So yeah, that's popular for TikTok, Book Talk. Writing tips, yes. So authors, I see authors, they're giving writing tips, but these are like 15-second, 30-second tips. So it has to be brief, and sometimes it has to be funny. And then if you search on TikTok, the trending sounds, or actually Spotify has a playlist of the trending sounds on TikTok. So sounds means not just music, but it can also be like the voiceover. So yeah, a lot of people use that voiceover and then create their video from that. But this one is important if you want to do research on TikTok. Just search for Book Talk and you'll see all the, but this is like all the kinds of book talk. So these are not just brands, but creators who are talking about books. So tips. So the number one thing, I've attended several webinars on TikTok. The one thing that they're telling brands is you have to partner with creators. It's good for brands to be there. You have content, but if you want to get noticed, you have to partner with creators and you have to let them do their thing. Okay, so you can't dictate to a creator, oh, you have to post about this book like this. No, they have their own style. They know their audience. So yes, post valuable content, but manage your expectations again, because for brands, it's difficult to get noticed. Choose relevant hashtags. So hashtags also very important to be discovered. And this is the thing, I'm still at this stage. We are still researching first to get a feel of the platform. But tiktok.com/omflit is already reserved for when I'm ready to go out there. But yeah, you have to do a lot of research first because it's not easy. I know. Okay, so Twitter. So we'll just go through Twitter, the other things quickly. Twitter, still relevant for some, but for mostly it's for real-time information. And for OMF, we use Twitter more for research, social listening. So I look at the trends, what people are talking about, but we just post some of our content there, but we do not focus on it because our audience is not on Twitter. Pinterest, if your book is about cooking, about art, about the visual kind of content, so Pinterest is still there. Okay, but we don't post so much on it. LinkedIn, if your book is on professional growth, business and all that, LinkedIn is very important for that segment. So it's more for thought leadership and to attract talent. So it's not just for finding employees, but you can also use it to build your brand as an author. Messaging apps. So this is called dark social. Okay, this is different from dark web. Okay, dark web is where we do not go. We don't want to go there. Dark social means people share links on messaging apps, but you don't know where they come from. So that's why it's called dark social. So that's Messenger, WhatsApp, Viber, Telegram, because of all the the privacy issues. So these you don't know where they come from. So what we use with messaging apps, we use them for customer service, So it's passive. So you just tell your customers that we are on WhatsApp. So if you have any questions, you can message us on WhatsApp. So, but you can also create groups, channels, and communities. So if you have, if you can ask your audience if they are on any of these messaging apps, then you can be there. Okay, so if you're just starting, if you haven't done any of this yet, so the very first thing you have to do is pick your digital real estate. So reserve it already on Facebook, Instagram, or whatever, wherever you think you will be. Reserve it, even if you don't post on it yet, but reserve it because, yeah, you have to have your name first there. Then you can choose your voice. You can be formal, creative, funny, mysterious, depends on your product. For us, because we are corporate publisher, so we are more formal. Okay, again, write out a content plan. So you can, if you haven't started yet, you can create like for your plan for the next 6 months, not details yet, but plans. So you can also prepare all your content that you will need for the next 6 months. And then make a great profile page. You need to have nice cover photo, background photo, etc. And then this one is very important. All those things I mentioned, you don't have to be there. You don't need to be everywhere. You can just choose which one, where your market is the biggest, and you can start there. And then when you see your market expanding, then you can expand, but you don't have to be everywhere. Okay, because we're gonna go crazy everywhere. If you don't have a book yet, you're just planning to release it, even if your book is not here, you can start actually posting. So you can create teasers, I said the book cover reveals, but don't give too much away. You have to have something when you do your actual launch. You can give out sample chapters or artwork if your book is visual. You can also give them a peek into your creative process. I love following authors on Instagram and Twitter who talk about their writing their book and what they're doing. They're doing writing sprints and all that. It's very interesting for me, and especially for future writers. Yeah. And involve them in the process if you can, deciding on titles, on covers, or names of characters. Yeah, you can involve your audience with that. And then when you have your book, so give out excerpts, very important, so people have a taste of what your book is about. Book giveaways, again, people love free stuff, so you can do contests every once in a while. I mentioned every once in a while because you don't want to give out all your books. Post where they can buy your books. Some authors always forget that, so they post about their book and then nothing. So you need to have a call to action. Tell them where they can buy your books. Have a book trailer, very important. Just a simple trailer. It doesn't have, you don't have to have an entire short film shoot or whatever. You can do, actually, again, canva.com. I recommend. Create a hashtag for your books, so it's easier to brand your books as well. Create a vanity URL. So this means, for example, the title of your book is Dons. So you have dons.com. Of course, that is something that's already taken. So you have to have something. You can use Bitly if you don't have money yet to pay for your own domain, but you need to have a website that's easy to remember. And this one is very important. Create bonus materials for your book. I love what some of the US publishers have been doing. They create, for example, they're launching a book. They create a Bible study, a weekly Bible study video with the author. So you just sign up for it, and then so you get all these extra materials. So yeah, it's very important to do that. And lastly, okay, I'm almost done. You have to have a balance between hard sell and soft sell. So you don't always say, buy my book, buy my book, buy my book. Okay, you have to have a balance between that. But don't forget to promote. Okay, let others talk about your book. So that's why it's important to have post about reviews, reposts, screen cap those posts on Instagram and then post it on Facebook. And boost and place ads on social media platforms. So yes, you have to have some budget for that, just to be able to what do you call this, to have more presence on this social media. Headlines are important. Sadly, sometimes it's the only thing that people will read. So you need to have a very interesting first line or first two lines. Time your posts. So again, I mentioned that. Find out when your audience is online, so your post won't be wasted. Sorry. And then include all your social media info in your book and book promotional materials. Again, you need to promote your page, your Instagram. So you put it in your book itself and all the materials that you'll use. And then make your call to action prominent. So you have to say, click this link, like this page, share this post, and buy this book. So that's a lot. I know. So I think we'll do a Q&A first, right?
Thank you so much, Ida. That's really a lot. So we are recording this webinar and we will share with you the link so you can review the presentation and take notes and review again if something is not clear. And we will also share the PowerPoint slides as well. We will share with everyone the slides too. So do you have any questions, our friends? Thank you for staying with us. Yes, there's one question I see. Use the Q&A if you can please. Jeff is asking, I find the secular writers support each other quite a bit, but not so much with Christian writers. Are, are there any good Christian groups that support tech each other well in your mind? On what platform?
Hmm.
Do you know?
Interesting. Well, actually, you have to do a bit of research. For example, here in the Philippines, we have Christian, what do you call this? The CWF, Christian Writers Fellowship. So that's a Facebook group. So actually on Facebook, there are some groups you can research on it. You can just type Christian writers and then see if it's relevant to you. But I on Twitter, actually, a lot of the more famous Christian writers, I see them support each other well on Twitter and on Instagram as well. So, but I guess for aspiring writers or those who are still, making their way, you need to find a local group or at least a group that matches your interest. So you can search on Facebook. You can also join the Facebook group of MAI, right? So yeah, that's one way that you can, but it's more localized, I think, for Christian writers.
Thank you for your question, Jeff, and for the answer, Ida. Romualdo, hi, Romualdo. Uh, which of the social media do you use most?
Ano?
Kayo.
Oh, sorry, I said Tagalog. Okay, sorry.
That's all right.
Well, for OMF, we use Facebook and Instagram the most. So those are the two major things that we have. But as I mentioned, we're also exploring TikTok because everyone says you have to be on TikTok. I'm not saying that, everyone has to be there, but if your market is young, then it's something you have to explore yet. But and also you have to find out your local market. So where are they big? Because Filipinos are still very much on Facebook. So that's why we focus a lot on Facebook.
Thank you, Lawrence, for encouraging words. Wonderful presentation and useful, Lawrence said. Nor Gonzalez is asking, thanking us for the comprehensive presentation. Can you give us warning about hacking? Or any
Oh,
experience
oh.
on this?
Oh yes. Yes, it's very important to, especially those who are managing your pages. Because on Facebook, remember it's a personal account that manages a page, right? So from my personal account, I created the OMF Lit page. So you have to make sure that your personal account is always secure. So change passwords as much as possible. Choose who are admins on your page because there can be more than one person to have access to your page. So you have to make sure that those are trustworthy and remind them also to always change their passwords.
How often do you change passwords?
Oh, their tip is like every 15 days.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah. And
every
don't
15
use
days.
your birthday or your
Don't
or
use
any
1, 2, 3,
important
4.
details. Yes, don't use 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, strong passwords. Deborah, hi Deborah. What are some of the tools for tracking social media metrics? How do you know if they're
Um,
effective? Yeah.
yeah, Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, although Twitter still has a lot to work on it, they have built-in tools to track your metrics. So if you go to your page, there's a section there that says Insights. So they have pretty comprehensive metrics already there. But if you have money to pay for, those tracking, Hootsuite is good. Hootsuite has free tools, but if you want more uh features, you have to pay for it. So I think that's one. The others are too expensive and too complicated, but I think Hootsuite is a good one if you want to upgrade from just the but Facebook and Instagram have already pretty good insights
And
tools.
that's built in into their
Yes.
system already. You have to click on
But
Insight.
that's for pages, not for personal accounts,
Yeah, not
correct?
for personal accounts. Yeah,
Okay, for pages.
pages.
Okay.
You have to have a page. Yeah.
Okay. Avery Powers is asking, how casual should you be as a publisher on Instagram, especially with reels and trends?
Gladys, you want to take this?
How casual?
You're the one to decide on that. Yeah, you have to understand your market first, how they communicate, and then you match. You match their tone, you use their voice to communicate to them directly. But for OMF literature, because we know who are our audience, some most of the time we are formal. We use
Okay.
Taglish, the Tagalog and English mixed together for products promoting the age range of materials, the titles that are specifically for them. So we also go Tagalog and English for children's books with parallel translations. So we have some flexibility, but most of the time our tone is formal.
Okay. So you have to understand your market. Uh, okay. Romualdo, do you use Facebook ads? Is it really beneficial? How often should you use it? Should you
Yep,
pay?
we do use, although we use the boost, it's two different kinds of ads that you can use. So boost, that's when you have a post that you want to boost. And then Facebook ads, you create really an ad for that will show up on Facebook. We use both, but we use boost most of the time. For example, we have a promo. We have a big promo. So we use that to promote that post. Okay, it is beneficial in terms of reach because as I mentioned, Facebook favors those who pay them, of course. So, but the good thing is that again, you can set your budget. So as low as $1, I think you can boost something. But yes, it is important to use Facebook ads or boost post.
Thank you. Lawrence is asking a very important question because I've noticed that you need to have an Ida Torres in your team to be able to be successful. One key success factor is to have somebody who lives, eats, drinks digital marketing. So Lawrence is asking, is it advisable to employ or engage someone, a specialist, to handle your social media presence?
Glad you want to answer.
Yes, it is very advisable to have someone who enjoys being in social media, going through all these platforms, and then post for you and for your brand. So because if you employ someone who doesn't want to do that, your audience will know. Your audience will notice, your followers will know. So it will be very obvious. So look for someone who will enjoy doing that.
Okay, usually somebody younger than you.
No,
Um,
well, yeah, that's what they say, yeah. But when I started working with OMF Lit, that was 2010. So I wasn't that young.
Okay.
I was already working in the industry, but didn't handle social media. So everything that I know now, I learned on the job.
Very
So
important. Mhm.
yeah, that's very important. So it can be someone who's older, not just young, but who's willing to learn, because
Willing to
you
learn.
have to constantly learn things. So
Yes.
I have to attend so many webinars, take so many Coursera courses and all that. So
Yes.
yeah.
In fact, Sharon Jones is asking, if I work alone, how
Mm.
much time should I spend on digital marketing? It could take up all of my time, but I just can't do social media or digital marketing all the time. So, what's your tip for Sharon?
Yeah. If you as Daddy said, if you know someone who loves doing it, you can get them. But if you're just working alone, you want, if you think you can take it on, you can just spend a few hours. You tell yourself spend like 1 to 2 hours on it. It's that's why it's important to have a content calendar. You can actually schedule those posts. So for example, on Monday, you just schedule for the rest of the week so that you can do your other things. Yeah, but if you can actually get someone to do it for you, it's much better.
Yes, yes. So, content calendar so that you're not
Mhm.
overwhelmed, you're planning and making
Yeah.
sure that you know what you're going to do next week. So, you're not rattled. Yes. Arman from Indonesia. Hi, Arman. How can you believe that they who like digital matters will become book readers? Do you have some data or experience about digital people moving to book people? So those who
Mhm.
consume social media, they're loving books. Are you seeing that? They become readers,
maybe
Gladys?
the beauty of social media is in the discoverability of things. No, so you learn from your audience, and the audience also learns from you. So there are, of course, there are people who are not readers, book readers, but they are on social media. You can convert them. You
Okay.
can encourage them to be book readers moving forward. No, so they don't have to start being book readers already, but because of your posts, your content, they'll be encouraged to read, and then your market will widen. So from our experience, that happened, and it continues to happen. So that's an encouragement for you, Arman, and publishers who are
Yes.
present here.
Thank you. It's encouragement indeed. Jack, which video editing tools do you recommend? Canva is not a video editing, it's more
Oh,
templates, right?
template. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Although yes, it's more for, yeah, if you need help with templates. But for video editing, Adobe Premiere, of course, it's the best. But Adobe also has their being, their Canva is their competitor right now. So they're also
Okay.
coming up with tools. Yeah,
Templates.
I've seen ads from Adobe, trying to compete with Canva. So they're coming up with tools. So it just escapes me right now. Maybe Amor can answer in the chat. What's the other Adobe editing thing that for mobile? Adobe Spark. There you go. Yes, Adobe Spark. Thank you, Amor. But yeah, Adobe Spark is more for social media stuff that you can do. So yeah, but
Is that a paid editing tool? Do you pay for
mhm.
that? Adobe
They
Spark?
have they have free, but I think
Okay.
up to a certain and they if you use the free parang sorry,
It's
there's
okay.
branding, yeah. Oh, but yeah, Amor
Okay.
said they have a free tier.
Okay. You can start with free, and then if you want to use more features, more capabilities, then you may have to pay for that as well. Okay, I think we're ready to have a break. A few 1 2 minutes, stretch out, get a cup of coffee, water if you want, and then we'll start in a couple of minutes. restart. I mean, continue with part two. Thank you for all the wonderful questions that you have asked. Thank you for engaging with us. So stretch out, get a cup of coffee. Somebody noticed my mug, my utmost for his highest. It's a gift from Oswald Chambers. Yeah. Okay. We are ready to resume. I think Gladys, it's your turn to make a presentation on digital marketing. So,
Through
oh,
email.
through email. That's correct.
Yeah, through direct email. Now I'll just share my screen again. Okay, I hope those from the Philippines and the nearby countries like Indonesia are still awake. So it's 10:12 p.m. here in Manila, but we'll continue with our learning session today. So we'll be talking about digital marketing through direct email. So why should we do email marketing? I said earlier, email is not dead and it won't be anytime soon. I mentioned earlier the numbers and the continuing forecasted growth of the number of emails sent and received per day globally. And these stats tell us one important fact. Even with the wide availability of smartphones, messenger apps, and other digital forms of communication, email is still the most sought after way to get in touch with others. So email gets delivered directly. It improves conversions. It provides more value to your audience. You own your own list, you own your media contacts. And in short, when we do the math, an email marketing campaign is probably the easiest, most cost-effective way to reach a large number of people with a single click, hence a higher return on investments. So as an overview, what can you do? What can you do to do direct email marketing? We strongly recommend using an email marketing and automation platform. Examples of this are MailChimp, ActiveCampaign, iContact, and there are other Shopify providers. So when you have any of these platforms, you can easily do A/B testing. So what is A/B testing? A/B testing is split testing. It's like running an experiment. You create two takes on a single campaign, and it can be a same message, but using different subject lines or different images, and then send out and test which version brings about more clicks or which version was able to achieve your goals. You can also do automation. When I say automation, these are auto responses to emails that will direct your readers to links that you want them to click, like, subscribe, or even shop. You can also personalize, like add recipients' names. You can segment your databases depending on their preferences, location, or other demographics. And of course, you can provide templates to ensure, readability and a good layout. All of these things that you want to do won't be done if you do not have a mailing list. So build and grow your mailing list and create your email marketing strategy and content calendar. And speaking of content, what kind of content can you do and create in doing direct email marketing? So, of course, you can announce new products and upcoming titles to get people to talk about them even before they're released. You can highlight products or collection from your backlist. You can reintroduce old titles to new readers as well. You can announce and promote sale events, launches, seminars, talks, meetups, storytelling sessions, webinars, or other events too. You can curate gift suggestions for various market segments. You can do book excerpts, share excerpts from various types of books that you're publishing. You can also even email a blog post. You can repurpose content from other platforms as well. Ida shared earlier that you can repurpose content from Facebook, from Instagram, and you can do the same for email. You can also do listicles, top 5 reasons why people are tired, 8 excuses kids say to not eat their veggies, and how you can rebut them. So it's just a thought that came to me on the fly. So maybe we should do that. So content roundup, you can also do content roundup. Content roundup is basically you curating top content for the week, for the month, and then you blast it out to your mailing list. You can do bestsellers or most talked about topics for the month, and then provide links to the products to generate more sales. Okay, so that's for email marketing content. You now know what you can do or write in your email marketing strategies, but how do you build your list? So here are some tips on building your mailing list. Number 1, you can include a sign-up link in your website, in your social media accounts, in your books. Very important that your books will have your a sign-up to your newsletters or an email that they can reach to sign up for your newsletters or to be added to your mailing list. Provide flyers in the bookshops during events, and even invite people through personal email. You can also offer something in exchange for them to subscribe. Yeah. Ida mentioned freebies, ebook samplers. You can also share discount coupons in exchange for signups. You can also use gated content, or these are exclusive content that you can give to generate new subscribers. Contests and giveaways, Filipinos love that. So a lot of the email subscribers that we generated are through contests and giveaways. And from time to time, clean up your mailing list every few months to just weed out those email addresses that are return to sender. Then share your email content link on your social media accounts. So every touch points, there should be an option to subscribe to your mailing list. Now, email marketing tips. So what can you do? Some tips, or run A/B tests on your subject lines to review or check which is most attention grabbing, or which subject line will lead to more click-throughs or reads, or will go to your link, the links that you will provide. But make sure that your email body, the body of your email will have short sentences and paragraphs. You don't want your readers to think that you're sending a novel. They might not read you. The tip is to send an email at least once a week. For OMF Literature, it's not just once a week, but at least once a week, you do something for your mailing list. The subject line needs to grab attention. Sometimes your readers or those in your mailing list will only read the subject line. So it should grab the attention of your readers so that they'll open it and read it. You can also automate your emails for new subscribers. So there'll be thank you for following us, for subscribing to our newsletter. Here's a free chapter of the book that we're releasing soon. So you can do that. Then the main message and call to action should be above the fold. And when we say above the fold, it means your call to action is visible without the need for your reader to scroll down. Your call to action can be repeated in various parts of the emails so they are reminded of what you want them to do. And your email has to be mobile friendly, as more than half of those who receive emails open their email on mobile. In our experience, the best time to send out emails is at 10 a.m. and then 8 p.m. These are the times that they're already relaxed after starting the day at work, or 8 p.m. after work, after dinner, they'll have some downtime, 2 p.m. during a break, and sometimes 6 a.m. before they start their days. So the best day to send emails, they say it's on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Don't email people on Mondays. Sometimes they'll just ignore you. And on Friday, they are all ready to take a break. So they don't want to think about anything else. So best to send during Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And don't forget to send this message to keep receiving emails from us. Please add us to your address book so that your emails will not go to spam. Okay, so in summary, this email marketing is shorter than social media marketing. Okay, for email marketing, do's and don'ts. First, before you get started on an email marketing campaign, determine who you want to reach. And so you have to build your email list that includes people who like you, are interested in your products and offerings or your services. So earlier we shared tips on how you can build your mailing list. Do that first, and then you can proceed with your email marketing campaigns. And then you set your goals for yourself or for your campaign. Ask yourself, what do you want to achieve and how do you plan to do it? These are the most common goals for email marketing, whether to add or generate new subscribers, increase engagement of your existing list, or add value or provide more for your existing subscribers, or to reactivate inactive audiences, your readers who have not responded or not clicked anything from your email blasts. And then know what kind of email you want to send, and then use appropriate words. This is, in essence, what will attract new customers and drive sales. So be short and sweet so as not to be ignored. Use technology. One of the best ways of creating a successful email marketing campaign is to use available technological tools to your advantage. These tools, such as analytics, software integration, automation, and templates and workflows, will help you to be more efficient and effective. Okay. The first thing a subscriber will see when you send an email is the subject line. So we have to repeat this and make sure you understand how important attention-grabbing subject lines are. And this is the deciding factor. This is the moment when a successful campaign is made or broken. So keep it short. Recent studies have shown that the best subject lines are between 40 to 50 characters long. So use your space wisely and catch the reader's attention early on. Make it straight to the point and tell your readers what to expect when they read your email. There is no need to be vague or misleading. This is one case in which honesty is the best policy. And personalize if you can. You can add the reader's name to your subject line, and this will ensure that of their engagement, and you can draw their attention. And then next, collect data and follow up. It is important to realize that the collection of data, analytics, the demographic information is a sure way to make future campaigns even more successful. Additionally, following up on your initial email is a good way to add previously left out information. You can get to know your customers and receive their input, which can help shape your future mailings. And now let's talk about what not to do. Okay. Do not bombard your readers. While following up on your initial email will show you are invested in your business and in your subscribers, sending too many emails will only turn your readers off to what you have to offer and ensure that your mailings end up in their spam folder. So best practice is to follow up after 3 days. And unless they reply to you earlier, then your next follow-up should be after 3 weeks if the offer or message is still valid. And then don't overuse images. Yes, I get it. You have a lot of photos of your book cover, one in the beach, one in the coffee shop, one with the church background, one in the school, etc., etc. The question is, will the email be opened if because the file is too heavy? Will it be opened? Your readers who are mostly reading via the mobile phones do not want to use up all their mobile data to open the email. So you ask yourself, will the email take too long to load? If yes, you've already lost their interest. So add a couple of images for aesthetic considerations, but make sure your message gets across in text form. Yes, do not forget to add your call to action. No matter how great, compelling, or engaging your email is, not adding an actionable link can lead to failure. After all, a single email is not enough to show your readers everything you have to offer. And then do not forget to add a physical address. This doesn't only add legitimacy to your business or your publishing house or you being an author, but to most countries, it is also the law. Of course, you don't have to add your home address. You might have stalkers then, but using a valid PO box is perfectly acceptable. And don't ever sell your subscribers' email addresses. Just don't. This is not only illegal, it can lead to lawsuits, fines, and worse. So, what are your next steps? First and foremost, you have to create a website. You have to have a website, very important, and then optimize it. Optimize to convert visitors into leads that you can follow up with. One way to do this is to have an offer enticing enough for website visitors to share their contact information with you. This means that they are willing to give you their email addresses, for example, in exchange for a special discount or a premium content, which is not available elsewhere. And then you set up an automated email marketing workflow. An example of this is that upon sign up, there'll be a welcome email, there'll be links to sample chapters, and if you have an abandoned cart in your online e-commerce, you can do reminders. You can also do thank you emails and other auto replies after surveys. Set up at least one business social media account and publish consistently. Own your digital space. So have that social media account and commit to publish consistently. You can build your community and engage them regularly. Ask questions, use hashtags, survey, do giveaways, contests, polls, and ask them to share content. And it's also very important that you listen. You respond properly and promptly to questions, comments, feedback. And when you receive feedback, you adjust accordingly. And then be relevant. You curate content, celebrate seasons, and blog. And perhaps one not very famous thing to do is to measure and analyze. Digital marketing is only as effective as your analysis. If something is working, you'll want to understand it so that you can replicate that performance in the future. If something isn't working, you'll want to understand that so you can avoid doing it, or you can pivot and adjust what needs to change. So why measure, why analyze? Because whether you're spending your money on a specific campaign or not, you're at least spending your time and possibly other resources on your digital marketing efforts. So make sure that you're spending that time and those valuable resources wisely. So that's the short summary of what your next steps should be after attending this webinar. So that's it, digital marketing through social media and direct email. First, don't be afraid of numbers. They are your friends. And finally, enjoy learning, enjoy exploring and engaging your customers via social media and email marketing. And then we have time now for a Q&A. But if you're shy or you don't want to, or you have questions moving forward that you're not able to ask now, you may reach us at Ida Torres at omflit.com and Gladys Doronila at omflit.com.
Thank you so much, Gladys. Yes, you've given your email addresses for them to reach you even after this presentation. Jeff made a suggestion earlier to reduce the pictures, tinyjpeg, tinyjpg.com. Thank you, Jeff, for that suggestion. Uh, we will send you the slides. Ariane, we will send you the slides for the do's and don'ts so you can review that. Any questions on email marketing? Um, Ariane, we will send you the slides. Uh, what's email marketing? I have to learn myself because we are using email marketing too. Sometimes we say we might be sending too many emails from from MAI. Sorry about that. Only Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, the most effective days to send. Really, email is a direct connection with your readers, with your market. I use the illustration of a shotgun approach for social media and bullseye for
The target.
email. The target, yes, for email because they are directly getting into the inboxes of your readers. The key is whether they open it or not. So as you said, Gladys, subject line is very important, and those emails should be beneficial to them, right?
Correct.
those emails should be beneficial to them so they can continue subscribing
Oh,
to your newsletters. Yes, Gladys, you have something to say?
shout out to friends we met at Lit World. It's nice to see you here again.
Yes. Yes, friends who you met at Lit World. Okay,
Yeah.
if you, I don't think they have posting any questions. Romualdo, do you send us the link? Oh, yes, yes, I will send you the link to the recording and also the slides. I will send you the slides later. Tomorrow, when you wake up, it's in your inbox. Thank you, Romualdo. Okay, so I don't think they have questions. I will ask you for your words of encouragement, your final words of encouragement to our audience. This seems to be overwhelming to them. There's so many things to do. Please encourage them with your parting words. Any one of
So,
Should I
you?
go
Both.
first? Yeah.
yeah. So don't be afraid. That's the first thing really. It's not social media is not something that should social media marketing is not something that should stress you out. I know that social media in itself sometimes is very stressful, but you need it. So definitely that's one thing that you have to understand. You can't escape it. You need it. So but the as I mentioned earlier, learning is the key. So you really have to be open to learning new things, and it's something that you have to constantly relearn because there's always something new. So social media will not wait for you to catch up. There will always be a next new thing. So that's why we're studying TikTok, because even if I honestly, I hate it. I really know that maybe it's my age or something, but I hate it so much. But I know I have to study it. I have to get to know it because we need it. So just, yeah, you have to be open. And if you don't want to learn anymore, get a younger person who knows it. When it comes, they said, get someone younger. So in terms of learning curve, because the younger ones have lived social media. So yes, you can get someone younger, especially if TikTok is the one market that you want to penetrate. You have to get someone who knows it already. But yeah, just learn and relearn. Those are the two things that you need to study.
Thank you, Ida. Gladys, your
So
parting
that's
words.
a copy paste na lang. No. If you are a publisher and you don't want, if you want to be relevant and exist for a longer time, be in social media, do social media marketing, do email marketing, enjoy it, learn. Yeah, that's one thing that's constant. That's constant for us. Learn, enjoy learning, continue, and just stay on. In Filipino, we'll say
Yeah.
kapit lang, and you will reap the benefits. Not just as a publisher, but as individuals, as authors, you'll reap the benefits of social media marketing.
Thank you. That's for your encouraging words. Thank you, Nor. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Uh, Next month, we will have Tim Thornborough of the Good Book Company. He will be our webinar speaker, so watch out for our announcements and invitation. Forgive us for too many emails from MAI, but we would just like you to sign up and register. This is for you. We're doing the webinars to serve and to help. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, Ida, Gladys. Ida, you're just recovering. Thank you. Praise God that you're okay. And thank you. As I heard, this stormy night tonight in Manila, but you're there. I heard from Gladys you're going to sleep at the office.
Yes, just for this.
For this. Thank you for the sacrifice. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your expertise and your passion on digital marketing. We appreciate you. God bless you and God bless everyone in your ministry, in your writing, publishing ministry. May God use you to draw more people to Christ. Thank you. God bless and see you again next month. Thank you. Bye bye for now.